All right, let's talk about AI's new watchdogs. As artificial intelligence gets woven deeper and deeper into our daily lives, a brand new profession is literally being created to protect us from it. We're going to dive into this new role, which was born from some groundbreaking new laws in California, and really unpack what it means for our future with AI. So, why the sudden urgency? Why now? Well, it all kicks off with a real-world story that asks a pretty terrifying question. What happens when the tools we're starting to trust with our very lives make a fatal mistake? Okay, picture this. A major hospital decides to bring in a cutting-edge AI. The goal? To help doctors figure out the best cancer treatment plans for patients. I mean, on the surface, that sounds great. Better outcomes, right? But there was a huge flaw. The AI was a total black box. Its decision-making process was a complete mystery, even to the brilliant doctors using it. And, well, you can probably guess what happened next. The AI started spinning out flawed, even dangerous recommendations. And because its logic was totally hidden, doctors had no way to question it, no way to verify the advice they were passing on to their patients. This wasn't just some small technical glitch. It was a fundamental failure of transparency, and real people were getting hurt. Now, this wasn't some hypothetical classroom exercise. This was a real, high-profile enforcement case in California that served as a massive wake-up call for everyone. The whole incident just laid bare the immense risks of unchecked AI, and it really became the catalyst for a whole new way of thinking about how to govern this technology. So when you look back, you can see this tragic chain of failure was tragically clear. It all started with deploying that black box AI. That lack of transparency hid a really dangerous secret. Audits that were done later showed the advice was actually biased against certain ethnic groups. That led directly to real patient harm, which, finally, triggered the regulators to step in, forcing the entire system to change, and fast. So to try and prevent this from ever happening again, California basically invented a new role. A whole new profession, really. And these people, they aren't just coders, and they aren't just lawyers. They're a kind of hybrid, created specifically to be the guardians of our trust in AI. So what exactly is an AI auditor? Well, think of them as a watchdog for algorithms, or maybe a referee in a really, really high-stakes game. Their whole job is to look under the hood of an AI system and ask the tough questions. Is this thing legal? Is it transparent? Is it fair? Is it ethical? They exist to be that independent voice that has the power to say, stop, when a system is going off the rails. And their job description? It's huge. This is not just about checking for bugs in the code. We're talking about fundamental duties here. Their number one job is protecting public safety and our basic rights. They have to push for transparency to make sure we never have another black box crisis. A massive part of their role is ensuring accountability, so when an AI messes up, we know who's actually responsible. They also have to safeguard our privacy, making sure these systems comply with big privacy laws like the CCPA. And this is so important. They are there to promote equity by hunting down and flagging algorithmic bias. It's a massive, massive job with all of our trust on the line. All right, so these aren't just nice ideas on a slide. These principles are now being backed up by the force of law. California has passed specific rules that give these auditors real teeth, starting in the one area where we know the stakes can be life and death, healthcare. This first law, AB 3030, is a game changer for how AI can be used in your healthcare. Starting in 2025, if a generative AI writes a message to you about your health, say a summary of a visit, your doctor's office has to tell you. They also have to provide a clear, easy way for you to talk to an actual human instead. Now, there is one exception. They don't have to disclose it if a licensed medical professional, like your doctor or a nurse, personally reviews and signs off on the AI's message first. This creates a really clear line of human accountability. But the new rules don't just stop at the doctor's office. The next major law tackles something way broader. Those massive generative AI platforms that are creating the images, the videos, and the text that we see online every single day. This law, SB 942, is all about transparency in our media. In this age of deepfakes and rampant misinformation, it requires that AI-generated content must be clearly watermarked. And this is huge.
It also forces the big AI companies to give us, the public, free tools so that anyone can check if a piece of content was made by an AI. The goal here is simple: to bring back a baseline of truth by letting us all know what's real and what's not.
And don't get it twisted, this isn't for small-time players. The law kicks in for any platform that has over 1 million monthly users in California. So yeah, this is aimed squarely at the tech giants whose AI is already shaping what we see, what we read, and what we believe online. So when you put these two laws side by side, you can see they're fighting on two different fronts for trustworthy AI. One is laser-focused on your personal safety and your right to informed consent at the doctor's office. The other is focused on public trust and transparency in the media that all of us are consuming. Both are absolutely essential if we're going to build a future where we can actually rely on these incredible systems. So, let's zoom out. Taking all of this in, what does it really mean for the future? For our daily, evolving, and, let's be honest, often complicated relationship with AI? At the end of the day, this is all about one thing: building trust. I think the biggest takeaway here is pretty clear. AI oversight is no longer optional. It's not a nice-to-have anymore. It is rapidly becoming a formal, licensed profession. The standards are going up. The penalties for getting it wrong are getting much, much steeper. And from now on, our trust in AI is going to depend entirely on how effective these new human watchdogs turn out to be. You know, one expert who was involved in creating these new rules put it in a way that just perfectly captures this shift. They said that auditors are becoming more than just compliance checkers. They are becoming stewards of ethical, transparent, and socially responsible AI. That single word, stewards, it just captures the true weight of this new role perfectly. And all of this brings us to the most important question of all, doesn't it? As artificial intelligence gets exponentially more powerful and gets woven into the very fabric of our society, will this new profession of human auditors, will it actually be enough to make sure that AI stays on our side? That, right there, is the challenge that's going to define the next decade of technology.